everybody. So this is so fun. We are here to talk about the year of superhero movies in 2017 and to give our ranking of the 5 films that we reviewed and did podcasts on this channel. And Trevor is here to help me. And so you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. How you going?
Yeah, and so we did not include Logan in this ranking because neither of us have seen it. So there you go. So if you want to include that, if you're in the comments, if you want to include that, please put it in. I know many people really enjoyed it, but I just didn't see it. So there you go. And for me, I did these rankings based on just personal enjoyment, particularly one pick I fully admit is not as well made as another pick, but I just enjoyed it more. So there you go. So, all right, we're going to start with our bottom, and then we're going to go up to our number one top pick of these 5 films.
Yep.
So number 5 for me for the year, first, what did you think of the year as a whole? Did you think it was a pretty strong year for superhero movies?
I think it was, yeah. It was, there wasn't really any really bad movies. Like where some years there's always at least one that's terrible, whether it be at Fox or DC, or with Warner Brothers. But yeah, this year was pretty solid as a whole.
Yeah, I'd say I enjoyed all of them on some level. There wasn't anyone that was like a terrible thing. Like last year's was way worse as far as superhero movies compared to this year.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm going to start with my number 5. And a lot of this goes into my expectations going into the movie. And it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is my number 5. And I was really, really excited for this because I really loved the original. And I didn't hate it. It's not like a horrible movie, but I was pretty disappointed. And the longer I sort of thought about it, the more sort of sour I felt about it.
Oh, really?
Because I think what they did that was a mistake was they had the whole first movie is all about building up this team and these misfits that balance each other out. And they each have sort of their brand of humor and their brand of shtick that's their thing. And what I thought was a problem about this movie is that pretty quickly on, they divide up the team. And so if you didn't have that sense of balance, it would just be like a whole lot of Drax and his humor. And it gets sort of grating on me. And then we'd move over to a Rocket scene, and then I'd get kind of sick of Rocket. As opposed to the whole team together, I think works so much better. And you got a little feel of that at the very beginning in the initial action scene, but there was just so little of that. And I thought I didn't really like Ego as a character. As a villain, I didn't think it really worked. And I didn't think his plan made any sense. And I really thought they kind of ruined some of the emotional moments with like things like the David Hasselhoff scene. I was not a fan of. And I didn't think the music was as good as the first movie. I didn't think it was as funny as the first movie, partly because they divided up the team. It certainly looks beautiful, and it certainly has some good scenes. It's certainly better made than Justice League. But as far as I had no expectations going into Justice League. And this was the most disappointing probably movie of the year for me, as far as my expectations and what I ended up getting. But it's not horrible. It's just number 5.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I went in with pretty low expectations, even though there was a massive marketing push, especially here in Australia. I'm guessing in the US as well, and online. And so, I went in with pretty low expectations, and it sort of met the expectations of my low expectations, mostly because it is a little bit of a mess. There is some good moments in it, but when you do the amount of reshoots that was done, and then the changing of directors, and it's never going to be the movie you want it to be. And there were some good moments in it. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't Batman versus Superman bad or Suicide Squad bad.
Yeah.
But it was very jarring in the sense that you can tell which bits were Snyder, which bits were Whedon, and then trying to put that story together, it didn't really gel. Character-wise, it's probably the best Superman we've had in this modern era since, I guess, Christopher Reeve, even.
Right.
So Aquaman, he had his moments. It'll be interesting to see where he goes in terms of his own solo movie, because he did talk in catchphrases at that time, things like "my man" and "I can dig it" and things like that. It's where you can't support your own movie if you're just going to talk in one-liners. The Flash annoyed me. Wonder Woman was still great, and I'll talk more about Wonder Woman later.
Yeah.
And overall, so it was a bit of a mess, but it was much better, and it's in the right direction in terms of where the Warner Brothers needs to go with these DC movies.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's my number 4. It's without a doubt a worse made movie than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But I had no expectations at all going into it because I haven't liked any of these DC films that have had Superman in them, and or Suicide Squad. And so I was kind of almost dreading it. And the fact I walked out of the theater being like, I was pretty entertained by that. It was pretty fun. But my initial tweet was, they finally got Superman right, but it was a hot mess. And it is a hot mess of a movie. There's no doubt about it. The story isn't good. The villain is terrible. The CGI looks terrible. It's things like his mustache look terrible.
That whole drama. It's like, why couldn't Paramount just give him a fake mustache for that Mission Impossible movie he's filming?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Oh god.
I guess it was so essential to the character or something. I don't know. That you have like a real mustache.
I got a feeling it might have been Tom Cruise's influence or something, maybe. And you got to appease Tom Cruise if you're making Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he has it out for Warner Brothers or something. I don't know, but yeah, it looked really bad, and I liked the Flash actually because I don't know the comics at all, and so I thought he was actually pretty funny, and I really like Ezra Miller as an actor. He was in one of my favorite movies in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh yeah.
And so I've always really liked him, and so I thought he was charming and kind of fun, and I pretty much liked all of the heroes in the movie, which is it goes a long way for me because I'm a hero person. I never get that excited about villains. And so, I mean, I guess Batman was kind of lame. He's the one, but I don't really like Batman, so I didn't really care that much.
Fair enough.
That.
Yeah, it was a bit forced at times, the Affleck Batman.
Yeah, he seemed kind of bored. Bored.
Yeah, you could tell with Affleck, he was over it.
Yeah, and I like the little moments of Joss Whedon dialogue in there that you could tell, like I don't know, like the dialogue between Aquaman and Wonder Woman was pretty funny. Just some of the other quips, and it just made me so happy to actually see like a real Superman, like doesn't make me want to cry.
Yeah.
Somebody that was inspiring.
Yeah, the other Whedon bit that I liked was at the very end when they set up the race between Superman and the Flash.
Yeah, that was really
you could tell that was very Whedon, yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. And yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a worse movie than Guardians, but I wasn't as excited, I guess, for it as I was for Guardians. So it was more of a disappointment so that affected my ranking. But I don't know. It's amazing with $300 million that they couldn't have made a better movie. They have so much in there it's amazing that a movie with Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman can't make as much money as Doctor Strange Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy. I know. It's
You would never guess that in a million years, but it's not
no.
as good a movie as Doctor Strange. Not even close.
Yeah, it's baffling what Warner Brothers is doing.
Yeah, it's so weird. But anyway, what's your number 4?
So my number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it much more than Justice League, but it just it didn't have any lasting impact for me. I found.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable at the time, and there was plenty of good jokes in it, but I think it was missing some of the heart that the first one had. In terms of, and a lot of that was because, like you said, they split up, so you didn't get those character interactions that you did in the first one. Mm-hmm. So you were stuck with these, same characters for pretty much the whole movie, and then they didn't. So it wasn't until they come back at the end, where you sort of they come back, and it's like the family again.
Yeah.
I guess they don't push family as much in this movie as they did. Well, it's different. It's like Star-Lord's family as opposed to. He's adopted
team as a family.
Team as a family. So it's not like a Fast and the Furious movie where you just say family a lot and it's meant to be a family.
Well, both the Fast and Furious movie messed up with that too. They separated Dom away from the group and made him like an antagonist. I'm like, that's the last thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't break up the family.
But you force in the Fast and the Furious. I can't remember which one it is because there's so many of them. But the one with the Paul Walker's final one, that's where they push family the most.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, that's true.
But going back to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Ego is an interesting character in the comics in terms of he's just a living planet.
Yeah,
wasn't what I expected in terms of what he wanted to be, but it wasn't means that it's bad, but I don't think it came off in the movie as well as I hoped it would. And and like you said, his plot was a bit could have been explained a bit more, but I guess when you explain plots more, it sort of becomes an exposition dump. So it's weird how maybe he needed a different plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I could have maybe even accepted it if there wasn't like those really uncomfortable jokes. I get that the movie is trying to be funny and be a comedy, and that's fine. But I think even like most good comedies have like moments that are drama, and it's okay to leave those in, and or sentimental moments. And I don't know, just like that. It was also kind of crude in the humor, which I didn't feel that way about the last one.
So it was crude in the other one, yeah. Yeah,
it kind of bummed me out in that way. And, but I mean, there were some funny jokes. I did like Baby Groot. Baby Groot was super cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And used enough. They didn't get annoying, which that character could have. And I think the Yondu stuff really worked, even if it doesn't really make sense.
Yondu was rose to the occasion in this movie.
Yeah. And like when you think about the first movie and what he did, it kind of doesn't make sense, but I don't really care. It worked, and it was a sweet, nice moments. They kind of let those moments breathe. But things like the mutiny, I didn't understand that. I don't get it.
I guess it's like a pirate. It's like the equivalent, pirates code conduct kind of things. It doesn't have to make sense to us, but it makes sense.
Yes. But it was very confusing because you're just like, he grew up with you guys. Like, I don't understand why this is all of a sudden an issue. It's very weird. And I don't know. And then like the 3 layers of villains, that didn't really work. Having the gold people.
Yeah.
I guess then Ego, and then the scavages. They had 3 layers and didn't really work.
No, yeah, I think you just need the 2. Otherwise, it's like was it Spider-Man 3 when they had the 3 layers and that didn't work at all?
Right. Yeah. So it's a mixed bag, I would say. Guardians of the Galaxy. It is very beautiful though. It's very pretty, and it's watchable for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's my kind of thing. If you you turned on TV and it was halfway through, you'd continue watching it.
Yeah, It's just because the first one was such a surprise. It was so much better than everybody expected it. It was so funny, and it built up this team that everybody loved. So it's interesting. Okay, so my number 3 is Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's my number 3.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, this movie, I felt like the hyperbole was a little strong on it. People are saying it's the best Spider-Man movie ever, that it was one of the best movies of the year, kind of a thing. And I was like, but it's solid. It's a solid, entertaining movie.
It's a solid movie, and it's not as ambitious as some of the other ones, and that works to its favor.
Yeah, and it's certainly the best Spider-Man movie we've gotten since Spider-Man 2, I would say. Which is saying something. I think that Tom Holland was great as
definitely, yeah, he's fantastic. He's probably the best Spider-Man out of the 3.
I think so, yeah. And I liked his friends. I liked his friends at school. Pretty much the casting was on point.
Yeah, it was great in terms of they very much captured the young Spider-Man very well.
Yeah,
where. The other two, Andrew Garfield was kind of convincing as young. He sort of played to that young Spider-Man, but I reckon Tom Holland does even better.
Yeah. I always felt like the Andrew Garfield ones, he was a little cocky to me.
Yeah, and Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man is a bit of a dick sometimes, but I think he was a bit too much of a dick.
Yeah, exactly. And just the dialogue between all of them, it definitely, you could see the influence of movies like Breakfast Club and stuff like that on the John Hughes influence on the movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that was fun, and it was something different. I don't think we've really seen that in a superhero movie, unless you're going to talk about something like Power Rangers or something like that. Like, we haven't really seen or Chronicle, I guess. Those are the only ones I think of that were really, like, marketed and made for teens. And as far as superhero movies, and I think the villain was really good. I don't think he's one of like the greatest villains ever. He's certainly not better than Loki. People were like insane, but like he's really good.
It was very much a very different villain in terms of where the complaints it's like a man in a suit or something supernatural. This was a very blue collar villain, which we haven't really had in the Marvel universe.
And it was very chilling. He actually was scary. You felt like he could actually hurt the character. And, he's right up there with Dr. Octopus, I think, is a good, really good Spider-Man villain.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like, and he had like a backstory and motivations that made sense. He wasn't just like out to rule the world, like Ego or something like that. Yeah. And I mean, I actually really liked Tony Stark in this, just because I felt like he was back to that sort of flippant, funny, charismatic guy that we haven't seen in a long time. In like the last 3 movies, he's been pretty depressed and sad. And Iron Man 3, he's having panic attacks. And then, Avengers, Age of Ultron, he makes Ultron. And Civil War, he was pretty depressed. And so it was kind of nice to see like him back. It doesn't really make sense when you think about Civil War and the way that this movie starts. Like, I don't think he'd be that chipper, but okay. But it works and it's fun. I mean, I think the downsides to Spider-Man: Homecoming for me is I think that you don't get enough Spider-Man being Spider-Man. Like, there was just very little of him like swinging through the city and just those epic kind of scenes I kind of missed. I thought. Yeah. And I think that the female characters are both very underdeveloped and underused.
Yeah, and I guess Zendaya will probably come back for the sequel, and she'll probably get a bit more. And I think she's going to be, especially since how well received she was in the movie, I think she'll have a much larger role. I really enjoyed the fact that it played up to the early Spider-Man in terms of there was a lot of that romance, a lot more of that romance element, especially since in the 60s it was almost superhero meets romance in a sort of soap opera sense. And they sort of they captured that in sort of a very modern way, sort of a teen romance. And Yeah, for me, the downsides, I can't think of anything. Like, for instance, well, apart from maybe what you've already mentioned of you didn't get as much Spider-Man being Spider-Man, and maybe the other thing was he was probably a bit too technologically
Yeah.
capable, and I guess some of that was to replace to try and not have to explain Spider Sense, but
He
yeah,
was
I think it was a bit too much.
he was kind of a mini Iron Man, and even the action set pieces were kind of Iron Man-y. He hardly used his webs at all. I mean, I guess in the ship he kind of did to like bring them together,
Yeah,
um, but they definitely felt more like Iron Man set pieces. And
yeah, definitely.
and then hearing the voice, I forget what his name was, but it did fit. That felt very Jervis and very Iron Man.
Yeah,
Uh,
that did. Like that didn't feel like Spider-Man to me.
yeah, that's true. And yeah, I mean, it's also a very diverse cast, and it's like effortlessly so, which is always nice. It's not like part of the script or part of the plot. It's just like
Yeah,
there, and I like that.
it didn't feel like a mandate either. It's just like
Yeah,
they just casted what they just probably had an open cast and they picked the best people.
yeah, yeah. Character, especially in
And
a
yeah,
comic book
and
movie.
especially if it doesn't like impact the story in any way.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so Spider-Man: Homecoming, it was a good time. It was fun, and I think it definitely. If I was like, my niece is 13, she loved it so much. It's like
Oh
her
yeah.
favorite movie.
If you're sort of the sort of like 10 to 17, I think you're gonna really like it.
Yeah, for
It's gonna
sure.
hit that sweet spot.
Hmm. Yeah, and it was a good start off to a series too. I feel like it's one of the better origin stories from Marvel. You know,
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
when you look at Thor, you look at Captain America, the first Avenger. Those are solid movies in my opinion, but I think
Hmm.
probably Spider-Man: Homecoming is a little better.
Plus, it didn't retread what the whole origin as well. At the same time, it sort
Yeah,
of
that's
found a
true.
way. It already had been established, and then this is like the next part of the
Yeah, you didn't
next.
need to see
Yeah,
Uncle Ben die again.
yeah, no. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows about that, and it's like if you went and did the Batman origin again, it's like far out. Who needs to see that again? It's been done like
Yeah,
8 times.
exactly. So all right, well, good. I wonder if we have the same top three. Well, so my number two pick is Thor Ragnarok. And I loved Thor Ragnarok. I thought Thor Ragnarok is probably the most rewatchable movie of the year for me out of all movies. It's just one I can imagine just having on the background and just watching over and over and over again. I thought it was so funny. I thought but it wasn't obnoxiously so to me. I thought that Thor and Loki were amazing. I loved both of them. I loved Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston in their roles. They were so good. I loved Valkyrie so much. She was awesome. I can't wait to see more what they do with her. But I love them. I loved Korg. I thought he was really funny.
Yeah.
I Yeah, he was really good. I thought that it, I thought it looked really good. It was just very entertaining, and I don't know. I really didn't have a whole lot of flaws with it. Like, it was just a fun ride from beginning to end. And I think it's totally okay to make some people were like, well, they didn't take the comic seriously enough. I'm like, that's okay. Like, I don't know. I think that you can have like say Batman, you have like the 1960s that are all silly, and you have like, Zack Snyder's version, like whatever. Like, I think that all of them can be done well, and that's okay. And so I have no problem with that with Thor and just being a fun ride and enjoying it. And uh, yeah, I mean, I love the opening. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. With Odin and the fake and the play was so funny. I'm dying.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just really liked it. I thought it was a very good Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a moment.
Oh, okay. So what's your number two?
So my number two was Wonder Woman.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay.
I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. It was fantastic in terms of being because I was going to be, I was a little skeptical as to if they could put Transformer onto the screen, especially with DC's current track record. But they hit it out of the park. Patty Jenkins hit it out of the park, and it was a very enjoyable movie, very emotionally connected connection as well. And it was a fantastic to sort of see her origin and sort of to see her getting into action, and also the Amazons as well.
Yeah.
Even Steve Trevor, who's always been sort of second fiddle, did well. It was enjoyable as well, and Etta Candy was enjoyable. It's good comic relief.
Forget about her, but yeah, she was so good. So funny.
She wasn't in it a lot, but she was pretty funny when she was in it. Yeah, and I reckon in the sequel she'll come. Oh, depends when they set the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
They might have some flashbacks or something. Because supposedly it's going to be in a more modern time, the sequel, but supposedly Chris Pine is going to be in it, so it must just be flashbacks or dreams or something like that.
Flashbacks, unless they're going to digitally age him or something like that.
Oh,
they might Benjamin Button. Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see how we go.
Hopefully not.
But no, Wonder Woman, you had to do it in a certain way in terms of hitting all the right marks for it to be a good movie, and they ticked all those boxes. You know, she's strong, independent. She had some good action. She was caring. She was compassionate. So they ticked off all the boxes, and they even had setting in World War One was a fantastic idea. Yeah, so smart. Yeah.
Because that was such an unnecessary war. I think World War II, you make an argument that it was more necessary because you have Hitlerism and Nazism and stuff. But World War I was so unnecessary, so particularly cruel that somebody and it was so brutal in the cost and everything. So somebody like Wonder Woman is just going to be especially horrified by what she finds in World War I. So yeah, I agree. That was really smart. And I loved, I'll talk more about it, but there were just so many great things that they did in that movie. And it was cast, I think, so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for maybe one. That wasn't great. But, but the heroes and all of the good, that was all cast very, very well.
Yeah, I think I know which cast you're talking about now. And the villain, Ares, the way he was cast, I was like, oh, I don't know. He was almost the equivalent of, at the start of Justice League, when Wonder Woman was fighting those generic white terrorists. Yeah. It was almost the same. Although the guy who played the generic white terrorist in Justice League is guy who plays Roose Bolton in Game of Thrones, and he's got a fantastic voice though. So I'm like, oh, could he have more speaking role, please?
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So it's a missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. It's the way he talks. His pronunciation and everything. He's got this sort of deep voice with well pronunciation. Sort of. I guess he must be British.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a deal breaker for me by any means, but it wasn't great. I'll admit it.
Yeah. The only flaw I found with Wonder Woman really was the ending. It was a very Zack Snyder ending. It's the shooting lots of bolts around the place and to solve the issue.
Yeah.
But I did like the bit with Steve Trevor, the way that especially the fact that they didn't play the audio to start with, and then came back and when they played it again with the audio, it had that big impact.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, Wonder Woman is my number one. So I'll just say some other things too that I loved. I loved the emotional core of the movie, like you said. But to me, there's sort of my friend Durbin does these theological analysis on his channel, and there's really good. Like he takes really movies you don't think have any spiritual component, and he finds like a spiritual or a life lesson or whatever that you can learn from it. It's really good. And but I think that with Wonder Woman, for me, it kind of reminded me of the idea of sort of a God going among us and just her coming to terms with the frailty and the weakness of human nature. I found very moving and very beautiful and very sad. And I don't know, there's a scripture in my faith where it's actually a story where God is looking down at the people and he says, they have no affection for me. And God actually weeps at the people.
Oh, really?
And that's kind of how I felt a little bit about Wonder Woman. This basically this demigod, that she comes to terms with how weak we are and how cruel we are. And but also, you know, she realizes the goodness, and that was just, I just thought so devastating that when I saw it, like really the first 3 times, I wasn't just crying, I was like weeping. Like it really like impacted me emotionally, the movie. And in ways I was not expecting at all. I mean, because had not been a fan of these DC films, and you know, female superhero movies have been shady at best, and it really meant, I know, like, I feel like I almost have to like hedge when I say this because, but it really did mean something to me to have like a great superhero movie with a woman, and that actually like was important to me, and it made me emotional, and it was like I know a lot of people have said it's that thing I didn't know that I needed until I saw it. And I think that is true. And I went to a Comic-Con. I went to a Wonder Woman panel, and just to hear all these different women in this huge room just sharing how much it meant to them, like it was really important. And people can say, oh, well, you should judge the movie based on the movie and not about, you know, it being not in that regard, but I can't help it. It did mean something to me.
And I know what you mean. Yeah, my partner said pretty much the same thing. She just, the way that the having a strong female character hero in the movie just meant a whole lot to her.
Yeah.
And her and her friend, when saw it at the same time, and they were both weeping. Yeah. She said.
I really was, and my brother was sitting next to me, and he's like, looking at me like, whoa, because I don't know, it just really impacted me emotionally, and I can forgive all the wonky CGI and the not great villain if I'm that emotionally connected with a film. And so it was my favorite blockbuster of the year. It was my third favorite movie of the year. I just loved it. I thought it was so great, and it was very special to me. I mean, and the No Man's Land scene was just perfect in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah,
when she's just like I can't, I have to do something, and then just storms up there, and it was so good. I loved it so much.
Yeah, and it was really well shot too, in terms of the way we follow the bullets, and
it was. Like I can't think of a better just action scene. I really liked. I thought the music was perfect in that scene. I don't know. It was just amazing, and she was just such a wonderful character. And I thought that her, and I agree with you, her and Chris Pine had such great chemistry. And I loved the whole setup. Like I loved the mascara so much, and I thought that really worked.
Oh, yeah, that really worked well. Mm-hmm. And they did much better in this movie than they did in Justice League as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, her saying goodbye to her mother and all of that just worked, I thought. And yeah, I can admit that the ending isn't the greatest, but I was just so emotionally connected by that point that it didn't really matter that much to me.
I mean, it ticked off all the other boxes that having a slightly flat ending doesn't matter.
Right, exactly.
It's more about the journey than the destination.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you also about having it in World War I was so smart. And also having it not have to worry about any other connections with the other movies was so smart. And you're just able to enjoy it just on its own as its own thing. You don't have to worry about any of the other films. So that made it work too.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think that's the way that the DC movies should go, is treating them like silos as opposed to having an interconnected web like Marvel has.
Agreed. Yeah, just make solid movies. That's all anybody cares about. They don't.
Yeah.
Like even with Marvel, I don't think people really care. Like if like I was saying with Spider-Man: Homecoming, like it doesn't really make sense. The Tony would be all quippy and fun and whatever, but who cares? Nobody cares. They just want a good movie. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, as long as you enjoy it, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me at all. And I think they think that stuff matters more than it does. But anyway, so yeah, Wonder Woman is something that that I will be very special, and I'm so excited about hopefully what it will bring into movies. You know, the fact that it was a hit and the fact that it was so good, and that, you know, hopefully we'll see more. Obviously, we got Captain Marvel coming up, and I don't know. We'll just see, because they were so reticent to take this risk. I mean, how many years was Wonder Woman in development? Like, but it was considered high risk.
Yeah, and they only thought it was going to make a small profit and everything, and it's made.
Yeah, it was the movie of the summer. It was the number one movie of summer. So yeah. So Thor Ragnarok's your favorite, huh?
Yeah, my favorite Thor Ragnarok. It was just a tour de force of just fantastic visuals, humor, action, characters, and it just all ticked off all the boxes, and the way that they took all the different influences and formed it into this brand new thing was just fantastic. You had elements of the Thor mythology. You had elements of having to lead off from the previous movie, but then they also had all the Hulk stuff and the whole Planet Hulk, and the way that they just mashed up all together. And sometimes you mash all those things up and it can be a bit of a hot mess, like I did with Justice League. But this one, it was like 2 thumbs up. Yeah,
well, they did a great job integrating the universe and the questions that were out there. They got rid of it in they did it the right way. They answered they answered Loki pretending to be Odin. They answered the questions about where Hulk had been. They answered the questions about where Thor had been. They, so all these sort of the Doctor Strange, it was in, out, done. First 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, it was all done.
Yeah.
And then you're on to the new movie. And that's the way that all of these movies should be, I think. Just get it out, and then let's move on to the rest of the story.
Yeah, I think that's how the Marvel should do it. They should just answer the questions at the start.
Yeah.
Have a cool movie, and then you might have a question at the end.
Yeah.
And then, which then someone else, it's like a pass the parcel as to who answers that question.
Yeah, that's right.
And
I agree.
Fantastic. And the visuals, maybe not so much the CG. Some of the CG was a little iffy. But
that dog. I hated that giant dog.
But in terms of sort of the costumes and the sets, it was fantastic in terms of the way they looked, and this the world building of the planet Skazar, and this worked so well.
I mean, the big complaint is I hear about is Hela. Is Hela underused or not very good? I thought she was fine.
Yeah, I wasn't so sure on her having been related to one of Odin's daughters, but that doesn't matter. But in terms of what she looked like, the costume, and it was just fantastic. It sort of translated what she looked like in the comics, especially very well, and just especially that headdress. I remember first seeing the trailer and going, "Bloody hell, that looks fantastic!"
Yeah.
Yeah, and because it's the kind of thing that you think that they're just to go not too difficult and just leave it.
But she was fine.
They went all the way in.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't great. She wasn't especially she wasn't as good as Michael Keaton in Spider-Man, but she was fine, I thought.
Yeah, she was good, and I mean, she was a little generic evil, but it doesn't matter. She had some good moments in there.
Yeah.
And she posed actual threat though as well. Sometimes these generic evil guys,
yeah,
they just go, "Oh, I'm big and strong," and no, and it's like your Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
It was like, "Oh, I'm big and strong," and but we're not going to actually meet until the end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, it's true because she took out the Warriors. I forget their names, but right away, I was so surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, and she destroyed the hammer as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's like the whole big oh god, oh crap moment, and
yeah,
well, she means business.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I liked that they actually gave Idris Elba something to do, as I forget his
Yeah,
character's name, but that he was actually like part of the plot instead of just
yeah,
guarding the gateway,
yeah.
the
Before he was
bridge.
more, yeah. Before he just had like a minor role. This one he had a bit of a larger role, which so contributed to the plot more too.
Yeah, definitely. And and also like I feel like you actually got more of Hulk as a character in it as
Yeah,
opposed to Bruce Banner, which we've always seen, and that was fun
yeah.
and with something new.
Mm. Oh, it definitely was, and he sort of the good interaction. So you had like Thor interacting with Hulk, but also with Banner as well, and
Yeah, and I love Valkyrie. I think that she might be my favorite, even though she's not technically Thor's girlfriend, but like my favorite of the Marvel love interests.
yeah,
You know, because I definitely like her better than Pepper Potts, and I definitely like her better than,
Jane Foster.
yeah, definitely way better, huge improvement. And I don't know, just all the other ones are pretty lame. I mean, I guess I like uh Haley Atwell in Captain America. I forget her
Yeah,
name.
she was good. Yeah,
Yeah, she's good. So maybe she's my favorite, and then
yeah,
Agent
Peggy
Carter.
Carter. Yeah,
Agent
yeah,
Carter's my favorite, and then Valkyrie. But I think
yeah.
Valkyrie could quickly become my favorite in upcoming movies because they're just
Oh,
kind of
yeah, definitely.
introducing her here. She was so fun.
Yeah, I think they'll find places for her.
Yeah,
If even if they don't never do a Thor 4, they'll find somewhere for her.
yeah. I really liked just sort of the like boozy, funny, like I don't know, just unique character. She was still feminine, but she was strong
But she was
and
she was rough around the edges and
yeah, but not in like a cliche kind of way. So,
yeah.
well, cool. I think that's a really I love Thor Ragnarok a lot. It was in my top 15 of the year, so I really liked it so much, and I think it is the most rewatchable movie of 2017. I could
Oh,
just
definitely, yeah.
because I need more emotional. Like I need to be ready to watch Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Because it's
No, that
more
makes sense.
emotional for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I understand that. Some movies you sort of you get invested in an emotional level.
Yeah,
You have to be ready for it. Where this one is light, it's funny.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can drop in and out, and
I
still get
mean,
it.
in Wonder Woman, a whole village is gassed, so it's a very emotional film in my opinion. But
Yeah.
all right, well, so that was really fun, and so next year, which one are you like looking forward to the most? Or I guess this year, I should say, this year, which of the movies are you looking forward to the most?
Um, I was been thinking about this during the week, and I think it might be Black Panther.
Yeah,
I was going to say Infinity War, but I'm a bit cautious by that just because of the scale
yeah, me
of
too.
it. It might not they might not pull off the scale, and but Black Panther, I think even if it is not um, a 10 out of 10, it's going to be a very important movie.
Hmm.
And just because it's nothing else like it out there. It's the
Yeah,
idea of having like a superhero movie set in Africa and
yeah.
is this going to be? I think it's going to do quite well.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Black Panther. That's definitely the most out of these franchises, DC or Marvel. I mean, the most obviously, I'm looking forward to The Incredibles too. The most as far as superhero movies, because I've been waiting for that movie for 14 years, and
Yeah,
I really hope it's good. Cross fingers. But but yeah, definitely, I would say Black Panther. I'm a little nervous about Thanos in Infinity War because those kind of like all powerful type villains. Usually I don't care about villains, but when they annoy me. And I just, Apocalypse annoyed me so much. And I feel like they're kind of the same. And
yeah.
so type of character.
Plus, we've had like 5 years or 6 years of him sort of popping in and out. So it's almost like they're building up this high expectation.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
if they don't meet it, it's gonna be it's gonna fall flat. But
Yeah, it's
we'll
true.
see.
And there's just so many characters. It's going to be, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, when you
I
got
don't know. Yeah,
you've got everybody in the Guardians, you've got everybody in Avengers, you have Doctor Strange, you have Ant-Man, like it's going to be like Civil War, but
and
way
they'll probably
more.
And I reckon they'll try and hint at Captain Marvel in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Her. And they'll probably have someone else that we don't know about yet. And then they've got a springboard for create some kind of springboard for Avengers 4 because it's apparently not one of those Part 1, Part 2 movies. So
I'm worried about Tony. I think he's going to be a goner. You think he's the most likely?
Well, I think it's going to be one of those things where after Avengers 4, if they're going to do any more Avengers, it's going to look very different.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do like the next generation where it's going to be like Sam Wilson and Doctor Strange and all these other characters will be the Avengers as opposed to your core that we've seen since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, you'll have Spider-Man. You'll have Captain Marvel will be coming on. Yeah, I think that especially with Tony being so happy at the end of Spider-Man, that to me was like such a clear sign that like he's goner.
Yeah, something's going to happen to him. He's either going to die or he's going to be.
Yeah.
He's going to be a point where he's going to be in a wheelchair or something.
Yeah. And a lot of people think it's going to be Captain America. I'm not 100% convinced. I could see them keeping him around.
He's like in a more of a mentor role, maybe.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting too to see if Bucky is in Black Panther. Do you think he's going to be in there? Because he's being stored there.
Yeah, true. I didn't think about that. Potentially, I reckon he might make a cameo appearance, or at least some kind of end credits thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, should be fun, and we will cover as many of them as we can.
Oh, definitely.
And the only one we won't cover is Deadpool because I'm not going to see it. Deadpool 2. So we won't cover that. But the rest of them, I think we should be able to cover just fine. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. This was really fun to look back on the year and some good movies that we got to see.
Yeah, 2017 was a pretty solid year.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. And so where can people find you?
So you can find me at howtolovecomics.com. So I'm a website that helps people get into comics. So if you're ever interested in, say if you see the event, you're looking forward to the Avengers Infinity War and you want to go, what can I read beforehand? You can come to me. I can let you know. I'll have a lot of articles leading up to the movie as well. I've got plenty of stuff leading up to Black Panther as well. On Twitter, you can find me at howtolovecomics. And if you really want, you can find me at Trevor Van Naz. That's my other one as well.
And all of that all in the description section. And let us know your ranking, how you would, if you're listening or watching, let us know how you would rank these movies and what you thought of the year as a whole.
Yeah, let me know. Let us know if we're wrong. Maybe Justice League's your number one. Who knows?
Yeah, put in the comment section, and we're always glad to be wrong. Wrong. So, well, thanks again, and you can find me at Smiling LDS Girl on social media, and here at Rachel's Reviews. So check that out on iTunes and here on YouTube. So we'll talk again soon. Black Panther.
Talk soon. Yeah. See ya.
Bye.